And on closing, I was able to take possession of 2 separate titles in one transaction. I bought the whole lot as one purchase price, but I ended up with 2 houses in effect.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and in today's video we're going to be diving deeper into Ryan Carr's tiny house. You may remember this from a previous video. In fact, I'll have a link in the video description down below for you guys to check that out, where we actually tour the house. But in this case, Ryan's going to break down for us exactly how he got this property, kind of the details around it, and just really dive deeper into the process behind the tiny house. I know a lot of people have questions about tiny living, a lot of questions about renovating a tiny house or trying to flip a tiny house. This is the first tiny house flip I'm aware of in Canada, so it's a one-of-a-kind topic. I love it. Thanks again to Ryan for taking the time to sit down with me and just kind of break down all this in detail. So if you guys are enjoying these videos with Ryan Carr, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and otherwise, let's get into it. What is up, you guys? Here again with Ryan Carr, and so we're going to be discussing a really interesting subject matter, at least in my opinion, tiny houses. So Ryan had a really interesting situation with a property he recently acquired where it had 2 houses on one lot.
Yes.
So do you mind kind of breaking down for us exactly what the story is? We'll be checking it out later, but I'd love to kind of get a visual here.
Yeah, we'll do it. So this particular property I purchased early 2018. It was a piece of land here in Oshawa that had a merged title. So whenever anybody buys a house that is adjacent to another property and they buy it in the same name, title merges. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw it out for you guys here on the way the property was actually laid out, why title had emerged, and what we had to do to get it back. Okay. So back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was what's called a plan of subdivision. And when they do a plan of subdivision, it's basically like having a surveyor go out and saying, this is where this lot is, this is where that lot is, this is where you can build your home, and so on. So we'll call this lot 1, and we'll call this lot 2. Now I was able to get a copy of this so I could see way back when how the parcels were actually mapped out. Okay, so on lot 1, somebody had gone and they had built a house, house 1, and then on lot 2, somebody had gone and built a house here. At some point throughout history, I'm not sure where, this neighbor bought this neighbor, or this neighbor bought this neighbor, something happened, and the part line had disappeared, title had then become 1. Okay, so whenever you're buying properties, your lawyer will often say, do you own any parcels adjacent to or behind or whatever? They do that for this specific reason. Okay, now when I took over this property, I was looking at the MLS data sheet. It was on the MLS, right? And it said 2 municipal addresses, 2 water sewer connections, 2 of everything. I'm like, okay, this has some potential. I'm always thinking about development and what's highest and best use, right? So in this case, this was like your standard 2-bed, 1-bath house. Okay. And this one over here, which I wasn't even sure what exactly it was at the time, was a 253 square foot house all on its own.
So that's definitely a tiny house.
It's a tiny house. So I'm looking at this thing, I'm reading the MLS sheet, and I'm like, okay, where does the opportunity lie here? How is title written? What can we do with this parcel? So what I came to realize after looking at all the surveys and all this stuff was these were actually on their own separate titles at one time. We could go back on closing and we could actually put this part line back in. Okay, that's exactly what I did. And on closing, I was able to take possession of 2 separate titles in one transaction. Okay. So I bought the whole lot as one purchase price, but I ended up with 2 houses in effect. Okay, so what we did, we went in and we flipped this house, cleaned it up, put it back on the market, took the capital from there, turned it over and did some renovations on this side, right? Then we went over here, we'll say clean up, and now we're going to sell this side as well. 253 square feet. It's like a bachelor apartment with a loft in it. It's really the best way I can describe it. Really looking forward to showing you guys the tour.
Yeah, I'm really interested because I'd imagine, you know, when it comes to properties, there's usually like a very high ceiling, but there's also a floor to the prices, right? So like someone that wants to live on this street, I'm going to assume you can probably sell at a cheaper price than almost anyone else on the street, which makes it very attractive for anyone looking to break into that neighborhood.
Absolutely. So this is such an anomaly that we don't even know what it's going to sell for yet.
Yeah.
So it's going on the market in a couple weeks. But yeah, we don't know. So we're comping like bachelor apartments, we're comping condos, we're comping raw land, we're comping all these different areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know what the appetite is in the market for this.
Have you guys settled on a pricing strategy? Like, will you list it low and hopefully get lots of interest, or are you going to list high and see if you can set a record for per square foot price?
That's right, that's right. So I think we're going to list it at this point at 200,000.
Yeah.
And see where it goes. Like, you can still buy homes in Oshawa for high 2s, low 3s, and they're like full-size homes, right? So we got to see where it goes. This is going to be one of those things where the market will really dictate as to what they think it's worth, and whatever they think it's worth, the market doesn't lie.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm sure some people have questions. How hard was it to get this put back in?
Yeah, so it can be a challenge. We had to go through some minor variances and some planning consulting and stuff like this to get that. We say as of right that we could put that back in, and in this case, there was some opportunities to do that, but there's still hoops to jump through. It's always a challenge when you're dealing with municipal officials and lot lines and setbacks and all this stuff, and properties that were built before the city even really truly existed.
So when you bought or committed and went firm on this deal, did you know that you were going to be able to do this, or was this again a situation where you looked at the risk and you're like, hey, no matter what, worst case, my risk's mitigated? It
was both. So I consulted my lawyer before we firmed up on anything. This was a conditional deal. I said, where are my challenges here? What are my opportunities? What do you think on this? And he said, well, this is what I think we can do with it. And based on those answers, I said, okay, I'm good to go firm, right? But yeah, beyond that, I mean, for anybody out there looking to do a severance or anything like this, you really got to check your bottom side risk and say, hey, if I mix this up or something goes wrong, where do I fall? Am I still okay? Do I break even? Or, what's my top end too? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I love it. And so for any viewers that are maybe curious on how to avoid having your titles merge, often, at least strategies I've seen, is maybe you JV or you put your partner or spouse on for 1% on one of the properties. Or maybe you buy one in a corporation and buy one personally. I know that that's what I've done in the past, essentially, is bought my corporation and then essentially JV'd with my corporation for 1%. And that's just enough to make sure your title doesn't merge. So yeah, this is fantastic. Tons of knowledge there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and otherwise, Ryan, where can people find you if they want to reach out?
rwcarinvestment.com is the website, or Facebook is where we update live almost daily. So check it out there.
So there'll be links in the video description down below. Definitely check out his website, check him out on Facebook. You're not going to want to miss his future projects. Thanks again to Ryan Carr for taking the time to let us just discuss this tiny house. It's a really unique property. Like I said, I think this is the first time anyone's ever flipped a tiny house in Canada. If you guys know otherwise, jump in the comment section and prove me wrong. Otherwise, I'm taking that as a fact. Again, if you haven't seen the video where we check out the finished product, you definitely want to check it out. Ryan's doing really high quality finishes on that project and all of his projects. So again, I think it's great inspiration, and I absolutely love the attention to detail he showed on this project. Again, if you guys are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you're enjoying these videos, and until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money in this world for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks, guys. Bye.